Hey, great Monday morning. It is a beautiful day in the city of Brownsville. It's going to be a hot one. It's not going to be warm. It's not going to be cool. It's going to be hot. It should be hot the rest of the week uh, if what the meteorologists say is actually true. Uh, it's been a crazy, crazy weekend. Uh, I want to thank everyone for the good well wishes and for the prayers and for everything else. It was a horrible Saturday evening and it was a horrible Sunday for myself. And I want to thank everyone out there. Again, one of the things that I know that I cannot do is eat grease, but grease is so good. And being Mexican sure as heck doesn't help. Morning, essay. Being Mexican doesn't help. Everything we eat has grease in it. So Saturday afternoon, I said good morning. Is it true you have rona? No, I don't. I had. Thank you for asking. I had. I have a small stomach, and I don't have a gallbladder. And what happens is, when you don't have a gallbladder, you don't have anything that kills the grease. So I went to Rudy's and I had that rub, and it was very, very greasy and very, very good. But it hit, and then is when I felt it. I felt the salt and everything contact, and it was like and sure as heck did make me sick in the stomach. But I appreciate you for asking. No, it wasn't the Rona. Good morning, Erasmo and Dr. James. Good morning, Noel. God bless you. Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing? And please don't go out there and write, Erasmo has the Rona. Please. I mean, you can if that's what you want to do, but I don't. I think I'd be the first person to be out here and admitting if I had the Rona. Good morning, Joe. Thank you. Ya tienes el OnlyFans? No. You know what? I still don't know what that is, but someone told me it was a bad site, so I'm not going to do that. Buenos dias. Show them off them boots. I might today, Vincent. We have a rally coming up today. Mackerel or sardines? Did you like the song I sent you? No. Good morning, gentlemen. God bless us. Oh, Norma, God bless you, hermosa. ¿Cómo estás? Te hizo ojo una señora fodonga porque hablas mal de ellas. That might be the case. I'm not really, really sure. Thank you all for coming in. Good morning, Erasmo, Dr. James. On my way to my office in Westaco. Listen to y'all all safe. I appreciate the jury safety. Dr. James, good morning. How you doing, my man?
Doing well, doing well. Ready for a Monday morning, ready for this week. A little alarmed by the numbers that reported from Hidalgo County yesterday.
What alarms you about them?
Well, 313 new cases, but 768 in the hospital, 200 in ICU,
Oh,
and 8 new deaths. So 200 in ICU. That's alarming. That's frightening. Whew.
well, I've had communication with individuals that are actually out there, in ICU, sir. And let me tell you, they are fighting out there. It doesn't look very very good for a lot of them. I made mention yesterday. Good morning, Dr. Savaleta. We will have Dr. Savaleta tomorrow evening. Thank you, Dr. Savaleta, for being here. I made mention that a friend of ours, a friend of the communities, Joe Valdez, asked for prayers. He's fighting the ICU. He's fighting in the ICU, guys. And Joe is an amazing guy. An amazing coach. He was coaching out there at veterans. Also very involved in these. I can't remember, but they wear the red jacket. Someone tell me, life, not life skills. Someone remind me. They wear the red jackets, very professional, and that's what they do. They do a lot of professionalism and also does a lot of the safety things like the security things and stuff, and like policing classes or something. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the name of it is. Someone help me out. But also, he recently was teaching up here at Porter, and also involved with soccer at Porter. I think. And, I mean, a great guy, great guy. He ran for school board back in 2018 with us. I love Joe. I love Joe. I love his family. So please, continue to pray for Joe. He's fighting in the ICU, guys. Uh, People are yeah, Cindy. People are dying. This is no joke. Despite the fact that the school board president Minerva Peña calls this a hoax and it's a political ploy, and that people just want to get rid of Trump. Despite all that, guys, it's not. It's very very disgusting for people in leadership. To make those statements, those type of statements, especially when you have loved ones around you, falling ill and succumbing to this horrible, horrible disease, virus. Shout out to my cousin, Felipe. Morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Dr. James. It's going to be a busy week, and your job doesn't get any easier, but your words and advice do help. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Hosa. That's it. Hosa. Thank you, Cynthia. Very involved in Hosa. And let me tell you, I love my Hosa people. God, let me tell you those. And Skills USA. Yes, I love my Skills USA. That's the one with the, let me tell you, very professional. My kids out there, very, very professional. Very, very, I mean, good guys. And I hope to get one of those red jackets. Rest in peace, Officer Chavez and Officer Garza, 100%. We lost two police officers in McAllen. And let me tell you guys, that's one of the things, Dr. James, that that separates us here in the Valley from other areas. Despite the fact that this area tends to vote blue, tends to vote Democrat, we are this community is unlike any other Democrat-controlled community in the country. We tend to be a lot more conservative. It's kind of funny, but we tend to be more Republican than some of the Republicans out there. As we believe in pro-life. We're pro-life. We are pro law enforcement. The majority, the big old part of the Democratic wing here in our area, they're very pro law enforcement. And right now, there's a horrible, 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 disgusting movement throughout the country to defund the police, to do away with the police officers. It's craziness, madness.
I don't see how that would ever work. It's not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen.
Or not reform.
Yeah, there's a lot. And reform is good for everyone. There's things in my life that I want to change. There's things in the city that definitely need to change. Everyone can make modifications here or there, and that's great. In order to improve, you make little change here, little change there, but to do away with. No, but shut up. Galilea Salazar, Lady Lobos Honors Marching Band. Love you. Good morning, Yesenia. Saludos, titos. Good morning, Erasmo James from the Chub. We'll go by today to get some cookies and get my chin up. Hey, awesome, Papa Chub. Love you, Papa. Good morning, Pedro. How's it going, Papa? What is the plan for reopening the BISD? What safety measures? How many cleaning supplies do they have? How often will they disinfect? Let me tell you, Vanessa, one of the things that we did learn was that today, my staff out there at BISD, the Glass Palace, they're all back there, full force, jam-packed in a building that has already produced several individuals with positive corona. I mean, I spoke with a couple of them this weekend, and they said, Erasmo, we've tested positive. We got it from BISD main building, literally. And these aren't the service staff. They're not the janitors. These are people in administration. They said, Erasmo, we got the Rona from the BISD building while there. And again, guys, it's time to realize that we are in a very difficult situation, and the choices that these people are making up there at the Glass Palace are not helpful to our community in any way, shape, or form. I feel for all my staff out there at BISD today. I feel for them.
I gave this a lot of thought last night, especially after you had Jimmy Vela on your show. And I wonder if many districts, not just BISD, but many districts are kind of waiting to make the hard decisions because they want them to come from someone else. They want them to come from above. They want them to come from the governor, from TEA. But I really appreciate the fact that Port Isabel stepped up, and they, at the local level, they made a stand, and they said, no, we're not going to go. I thought that was really great.
That's courage, Dr. James. That's courage. That's leadership. I mean, a small little town like Port Isabel with a four campus district, more common sense than a district of 43,000 students with 53 campuses. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the city of Brownsville. It's embarrassing for our local elected leadership that a small town right here, close to us, our sister city, Port Isabel, took the lead and are actually sharing their concerns with other school districts in the area, as our amazing friend Frank Davalos Jr. did by sending letters to all the board members and superintendents in Brownsville, Los Fresnos, Harlingen, San Benito, to let them know, guys, it's the only way. And Dr. James, it's something that we've been saying for months. There aren't choices, guys. Take that out of your mind. There are no choices. The only option for safety, health, and well-being of our students, our teachers, our staff, and our community as a whole is to remote learn. It's the only option. And look, Dr. James, I am very conservative. I am very, very conservative. I'm more conservative than liberal. I don't call myself a Democrat and I don't call myself a Republican. I'm conservative, very, very conservative. The conservative movement in the United States wants to open schools. I disagree wholeheartedly because it's not a party issue, folks. Just because I tend to think conservative, I vote conservative, I enjoy conservative platforms, doesn't mean that I'm going to be in favor of stupidity. And right now, stupidity would be to send children back to school.
One thing that we really need is there needs to be a very detailed plan. I found very interesting. I saw a video over the weekend from China and some of the steps that they take when their young children are going back to school. And it showed them in line on the sidewalk in front of the building, social distance. They would walk up. The bottoms of their shoes would be sprayed. They would throw away their mask, their little surgical mask. Walk in, they would have an ozone machine that would spray them front and back. They would rinse their hands, have their temperature checked, and get a new mask and walk into the building. I thought that was pretty amazing. I wonder what kind of plans that we have.
We have nothing yet. But see, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. The part of the problem is that we're so late in the game, Vanessa. And Dr. James, we're so late in the game. We should have started planning for this, for remote learning, months ago. And right now, everyone's scrambling. That's one of the reasons why, Dr. James, they forced everyone back onto the glass palace. It's a mistake. But it's like one mistake after another mistake after another mistake. I mean, they haven't even yet to call a special call board meeting. They haven't submitted the request for a special call board meeting. And you need 72 hours in order to have a special called board meeting. They haven't. Now they can call an emergency meeting. An emergency meeting, all you need is 2 hours notice. An emergency meeting. But really, guys? I mean, now they think it's an emergency? Now? Dr. James, it was an emergency months ago. And the trends were showing us that this is where we were going. This is exactly where we were going. That's what the medical professionals were telling us because they were coming on this show. They were coming on the show to tell us exactly the same thing months ago. Months. So now they want to have an emergency meeting? Now it's emergency for them? The only thing that's emergency for them is their re-election. That's it. That's all they care about. They care about the money and they care about their stupid re-election. I mean, months ago.
And it's not just locally either. I mean, even at a national level, people are just not listening to the health professionals. I don't understand why our president is trying to discredit Dr. Fauci. I mean, he's been in that field for decades, and he's supposedly an expert in that field. So I don't understand where he gets his expertise, but I mean that it trickles down. It's been a bad example from the national level, from the state level, and it just trickles down, and people believe these things. I saw another post on Facebook from our governor regarding the virus, and the amount of people commenting, just saying, "You lost my vote when you shut us down," back weeks ago. I mean, just comment after comment after comment after comment. And I don't understand why people don't put their faith in the medical professionals and the scientists who are telling us exactly what's going on. And then just the real life facts of, how many are in the hospitals, how many are in the ICUs, how many are dying. And again, that kind of lags behind. When you see the huge numbers of new cases, it takes a couple of weeks before you see the numbers in hospitalizations go up, and then a little more time passes, ICUs go up, a little more time passes, and then the deaths go through the roof.
It's horrible. And again, one of the things that I'm very upset with here in the area is our numbers are being underreported. Let me just get this. Paloma, City of Brownsville line is down. Guess they're tired of residents calling. City of Brownsville, I'm going to send right now. I'm going to send a message to the City of Brownsville, guys. Trash hasn't been picked up. Mayor hasn't been picked up, and I am sure he's going to appreciate the early morning message of trash has not been picked up. Mayor Mendez, sorry, sir. Sorry, I didn't say good morning. Yeah. Yeah, we know the reason why that the trash has not been picked up, because the trash collectors have COVID. Goodness gracious. It's not a hoax, folks. It's not a hoax. And we're starting to see the ripple effect. Everything is going to crap in the city. Everything is going to crap in the city. The lines are down. People are calling. Thousands of people are calling, and yeah, the lines are flooded.
And that's the bottom line. The bottom line with following the guidelines, with staying home if you can and don't go out. If you do have to go out, physical distance, wear a mask, wash your hands, clean and disinfect any items that you bring into your house. And all of that is not just to protect yourself, but to protect others. And not only others in your household, but others in the community. If you're not following those guidelines, it's not just a question of your own individual freedom. It's a question of protecting all of us and keeping the hospitals from being overwhelmed, which now they are. Now they are completely overwhelmed. And now people who have appendicitis or other issues, kidney stones, and they need to get there's nowhere for them to go. The hospitals are full. The waiting rooms are full. Outside the hospital, there's people waiting. Ambulances are waiting hours and hours at a time just to get people inside. It's horrible.
It is horrible. Dr. James, take over for a little bit. I've got something to do real quick.
All right.
There's something other in regards to take over, Dr. James.
All right. Got it. So what do we do now? What do? We need to advocate. And yes, we do need to email and call and send letters to our governors, but it's not just at the state level, it's at the local level. We need to advocate. We need to advocate for our own safety. We need to advocate for our kids. We need to advocate for our communities. It's almost as if society itself is kind of tearing apart. And it's a struggle, and it's a fight, and it's become political, and it shouldn't be political. It should be just about the health and well-being of all the people who live in our community, and the mental health as well. A lot of people are frightened, anxious, depressed, having trouble sleeping, Their eating patterns have changed because they're worried about going back to work, going back into the schools, their kids going to school. Then we also have people who are worried about the economy. They're worried about their finances. They're concerned about paying their bills. And I know there are difficult choices to be made, but how much money can you put on a human life?
No, you can't. And again, it's very, very telling. We've sent a link to our Mayor Mendez, and Mayor Mendez will be on in a little bit. And speak of the handsome devil. Los Angeles. Mayor Mendez, good morning, Mayor Mendez.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. Thanks. Good morning, Doctor.
Morning. Go
Mayor,
Dodgers, right?
What
I'm a Cubs fan, 100%.
one of the concerns? One of the concerns this morning is in regards to the city of Brownsville phone lines being down. And what we're guessing is that the reason that they're down is because a lot of people are giving a call in because of the trash collection.
I doubt it's just because of the trash collection, to be honest. I'll have to check on it. I just got into the office, so I'll check on that. Obviously, the line's been overwhelmed on quite a bit of things. The Republic issue, the trash issue is a COVID issue. They're doing it as quickly as they can, but they've got about 12% of their staff down right now, which is about 1 out of 8. So they're managing as best they can, but I know people are upset about it. But just understand it's getting worked on, and your trash will be picked up as quickly as you can. And if there's an urgent issue, you can email me trey.mendez@cob.us, and we'll try and see if we can expedite it, but no guarantees.
Yeah, one of the things that we recommended to a lot of the individuals, and a lot of individuals are willing to help. We recommended that people, if it gets to a point where you have too much trash, go to the city landfill and maybe drop it off yourself. I know it's drastic, but this is the time where we all as a city need to start working together. It's not like, oh well, I pay my taxes and blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. Right now we're in a difficult situation. We all have to chip in.
Definitely. I mean, we're all in this together, right? From day one, since March, we've all been in this together, and we've seen the results of those who don't want to participate in being part of this group effort that we have all tried to be part of. So, guys, just realize we're all doing our part, some more than others, but we all have our role to play in this. And just be patient with the city when it comes to services. We're not intentionally not picking up your trash. It's just you can't predict that your provider is going to have a COVID issue. I mean, it's happening all over the place. And like I said, for my personal restaurant, we had to shut our doors this past weekend to disinfect and test some of our employees because there was an exposure. We had an employee that tested positive. So even though we had planned this out, we had our employees working in teams. We had different teams so that one team went down, theoretically, the other team would be able to continue operations. Well, we didn't plan for both teams to be potentially exposed or a couple people down in one and then exposure in the other. So those are things that you can't plan for, even though you try and plan as best you can. So the community spread is almost uncontrollable when it comes to trying to prevent exposure. The only way is to stay home and just go straight to work or straight home and straight to pick up food, and that's about it. But just understanding and patience is all we ask. We're working on it.
One of the other concerns that not concerns, but one of the things that we learned during the weekend is the number of deaths that are happening in the city of Brownsville. We have several posts from different nurses that work at the hospitals, that are stating that there's great numbers of individuals who are passing away. These numbers, it's taking a while for them to be reported in our county list, and I think it starts to breed a false sense of security for a lot of people. Is there a way to encourage our county to be a little bit quicker in regards to reporting the numbers? That's the first question. Second question is, we also hear that a lot of individuals that are passing away in their homes. So the numbers, in a way, are kind of skewed. I have estimated that an average of 20 individuals are passing away in the city of Brownsville per day.
Well, I think the number of people that you're estimating are passing away is pretty close. I'd say maybe about 15. The thing that we have though right now is it's twofold. First of all, in the hospitals, The hospitals are losing a lot of people right now. There's a lot of individuals on ventilators. I just got text this morning from both hospitals. They've got over 20 people at each hospital that are on ventilators right now. Their survival rate when you're on a ventilator, as we know, is not good. And their ERs, not only are they full, but they have people on a wait. So every morning there's people that are waiting for a spot in the ER. So ICU's full, ERs are full, people waiting to get into the ERs. That's not a good situation. When you've got an average stay of 10 to 14 days for the patients that are there now, and then you've got people that are just as sick trying to get in, it's just not a good situation. And it's almost, it's very critical and very dire. So the hospitals are trying to open up as many units as they can, trying to work with their existing facilities to open up more space, and they are doing that. As far as the county reporting, Erasmo, we've been asking and we've been trying to get those numbers quicker. I know that our drive-through provider has been sending those numbers, and we've had days, as you know, where the drive-through has well over 100 positives in a day.
Yes.
But when I see the county reporting, I've never seen more than about 35 to 40 people reported from the drive-through every day. So I can't tell you what the issue is, but I know that the county recently hired, they hired a firm to start helping them in contact tracing and doing some other things. So hopefully that means that reporting will speed up. We saw a death a couple days ago that was from 6/18. So we're like three weeks behind on reporting deaths. And when I say we, I mean the county, because I see this as a group effort.
Yes.
But the city reports, and then the county takes over after that to confirm the positives, to do contact tracing, and then put it out there in press releases for the public. But a couple days ago, I can confirm that there was 7 deaths just at one hospital, and that was confirmed, by a doctor friend of mine as well. So it is very, very serious, and there's people that are dying daily. Just ask the funeral directors. Look at the obituaries in the Herald. You're going to see what's happening. And I would say 15 people. The issue, though, is for those that die at home, we can't always confirm that they're COVID related. You can assume, you can make that presumption, but at the end, some of those individuals may not be reported because they never tested positive, or there's no way to prove that they were in fact COVID, even though maybe they had tests out, they had family members that were positive, or they had all the symptoms, breathing, respiratory failure, other serious issues like that. So this is a situation that I'm describing almost as unmanageable when it comes to the spread. And the measures we've taken over the last 10 days or so have helped. And my sincere wish is that things will plateau in the next few days, and then we can maybe try and get control of it a little bit better. But I'm afraid July 4th may throw a big wrench into those thoughts.
We had State Representative Eddie Lucio on with us on this past Saturday, sir. And one of the things that he mentioned that he was concerned with was our nursing home situation. He had made mention that he had gotten several calls from different family members in regards to the situation in our nursing homes. And the individuals were asking yesterday, and I said, guys, I think all nursing homes right now are in trouble. And it's a dire situation. I mean, what solace, what words can we give to our people out there who have family members at the nursing homes?
As far as solace, I'm not sure what I can do in good conscience, and I don't want to give anybody the thought that everything's okay at the nursing homes, because I don't think things are okay. You've got outbreaks at a couple, and the issue is the residents they're there. They don't go out. They don't go anywhere. So the residents aren't the ones that are contributing to the positives or the spread. It's either employees or administration or other personnel that are coming in and contributing to this. And this shows how I think this is a perfect example of the testing, because we were about a month ago. We do remember the governor, doing his PR on testing everybody at nursing homes, and we did that. Everybody at nursing homes in Brownsville got tested. But again, a test is just a snapshot of where you are on that particular day. That doesn't mean because you're negative, you're going to be immune for the rest of your life. That just means you weren't positive that day. And then within a week or two the statewide nursing home test, we had an outbreak at one of these facilities, which shows that all it takes is one person to be positive to be able to spread this. And nursing homes are a huge concern because you have the exact demographic that you do not want to get this virus because they're going to be completely susceptible. They're not going to have the same response as somebody that's younger. They probably have comorbidities. They've got very likely some sort of respiratory or lung issue or cardiac issue or even diabetes, which are contributing to deaths. And it's just a sad, terrible situation. So the nursing homes have to take as much precaution as they can on their employees and in order to keep their residents safe. But I'm afraid that a couple of these were not being very cooperative once the positives started happening.
Yeah, we saw that, I think, at Spanish Meadows with one of the individuals who, came in, tested negative, and, after being there for a couple of days, then all of a sudden, went from negative to positive. And I think a doctor shared with us the schematics is, you test negative on Monday, you come into contact with somebody, you test for COVID on Monday, you come into contact with someone on Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll be okay. Thursday, you're going to wind up being positive and not even know it because you're very comfortable. And I think that's something that you say is very, very, very telling. People need to be very, very concerned with, hey, I tested negative and everything's okay. No, it's not okay. You still have to maintain distance from each other. You still have to wear your face coverings because it's not a free pass. It's not a get out of jail free card.
Right. And you brought up a good point, which is the timeline of this virus. And I've known people that have been exposed to somebody that's positive. Let's say, doctor, you and I have lunch on Monday and you're shedding virus. You don't even know. Then 2 days later, you start feeling sick and you wind up testing positive. Well, I was exposed while you were shedding, but I may not be presenting with symptoms for 6 or 7 days. And I could take a test. Let's say you tell me, hey, man, I came out positive, and I take a test that same day. My body may not be at the stage where the virus is going to show a positive yet, but I have it and it's starting. So I've known people that have taken a test because they were exposed to somebody that was positive, came out negative, then a couple days after their negative test, then the virus hits them and they have to retest and then they're positive. So it's a very tricky thing as far as when you test. And I would urge people to try and test when they're presenting with symptoms if that's possible. Because just because you were exposed to somebody doesn't mean you have to test immediately because you may not be positive on the PCR test for another couple days. So I know people want to know right away and they want to test right away, but it might be good to wait a day or two before you get tested to make sure that it catches everything that's happening. And it's also important, I've seen and heard of individuals offering rapid tests or other types of testing to the community that aren't accurate or aren't the right test to be able to determine whether or not somebody has a virus active. I've heard of antibody tests being offered. Well, antibody tests aren't going to show that you have the virus active in your system right then and there. It just means that if you have the antibody, you had it at some point or you were exposed at some point and your body created the antibody to fight it off. But antibody testing is not an accurate way to determine whether or not you're positive at that moment in time. It's probably the worst way to determine that. And some people think that by taking that, that's a free pass. It's certainly not.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Mayor, because I even read that Tom Hanks has been donating his plasma ever since time back when he had COVID. And actually, he's gotten to the point now where he doesn't donate his plasma anymore because the level of antibodies has decreased so much over time.
His?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But Doc, there's still a lot of research out there as far as what happens after you're positive and after you get through this. Are you at risk of being positive again? Like you said, do the antibodies diminish? Are they finite? Wow, that's the first time I hear that. So you hear rumors and you hear about things like that, but that's the first concrete one I've heard so far. And I've heard about other people in other countries testing positive a second time a couple months after they had it. So that's definitely concerning. But we're still learning a lot. We're still learning a lot about this. But I would urge people to, if they do test, to make sure that they test at the right moment in time where the virus will be presenting and they can get an accurate determination as to whether or not they do have it.
Mayor Mendez, one of the things that we just learned actually a couple of minutes from now was something that was rumored throughout this weekend. Brownsville Independent School District will have an emergency meeting at 1 o'clock. In order to address the issue of teachers and individuals going back onto campus. One of our concerns is, I mean, y'all were speaking about this months ago, sir, and y'all were suggesting and recommending that no one should be going back on campus. It took months for them to come out and ask for an emergency meeting. I mean, it just goes to prove that I guess the doctors, we all were right, and it just took them this long. But with that said, we're very, very glad that they're finally going to take Port Isabel's lead and keep people away from the campuses. It's a big concern.
If that's the case, that's great news, and that's a nice way to start the week. Test. I know that there's been studies as far back as 3 months ago. I even sent one to the superintendent when we were talking about closing schools months ago. Studies that clearly show that schools are one of the worst possible places to spread virus based on the density, based on the age of individuals. You have so many students there that may be positive that are silent spreaders. It's just not a good situation when you're sending 40,000 students back and 10,000 maybe employees, or Erasmo, you know more on how many employees, but when you're sending 45,000 people back to very concentrated buildings that are closed with no negative air pressure systems or anything like that, you're asking for a disaster. And I know that some in BISD were asking for this, and we don't know what the administration was going through. We don't exactly know what's happening behind the scenes, whether they were concerned about funding or not. We don't know. But for me, it was a very, very clear and obvious decision.
You were right, Mayor. One of the questions that's come up actually twice is in regards to, do you feel that we are going back into a shelter in place?
The governor stated, what was it, about 2 weeks ago, that it was something that was possible if the positivity rate doubled. At the time, the positivity rate in the state was 10%. Now it's 16.5 approximately. So we're trending back up there. And as you see, he's starting to backtrack on his public statements, which would tend to indicate to me that he is considering that and is likely. What exactly that would mean or what the parameters of a shelter in place would be yet to be determined. But that's something that we are considering as a city as well, because we need to reduce mobility. Now that the spread is what it is, we need to reduce mobility and reduce contact. And if people can't take it upon themselves to do it, we may have to do it for them.
And Laura, I won't answer this for the mayor, but I think we've already mentioned it. The best case scenario for anyone out there is remote learning right now. What are your suggestions in opening schools, Mayor? Will you suggest to the board, because we are a hot spot?
Well, since April, I think I've been on record of saying I'm not in favor of schools opening or having in-person classes, and that's still my stance, and it's going to be my stance for the foreseeable future.
Porter Nation mourning the loss of one of the best soccer players, class of '89, Jose Junior Sanchez. Prayers to the Sanchez family again. One of the things, Mayor, that I think you've seen, you're very active in regards to social media, and that's actually a great thing. I remember when a couple of months, maybe a year back, people were going, "Oh, they spend too much time on social media," as if it were a bad thing. Now it's an amazing thing, and you're very, very active on social media, Mayor, and we appreciate that. It's the way most individuals out here get their information. And I know that you've seen it. We've seen it. All these black ribbons, black ribbons, black ribbons, black ribbons, prayers for my family member, prayers for my friend, prayers for this guy, prayers for that guy. It's devastating. It fills up my newsfeed.
Oh, it's terrible. And I think by now we all know somebody who, at the very least, somebody that's had it, or somebody that has lost their life. I've known a handful of people now that have lost their life. I've got a very dear friend, a few years older than me, who's on a ventilator now, fighting for his life. He's been in the hospital for about 3 weeks or more. And it's, the circle's getting closer, guys. It's tightening, and we're losing a lot of people that are younger. The hospitals are clearly seeing younger people coming into the hospital. The acuity of the virus, meaning the severity of the illness, is a lot worse now than it was a month ago, 2 months ago. So that means that people that are coming into the hospital are coming in sicker and they're staying longer. And we're seeing that across the board. And we have to realize that Brownsville and the Rio Grande Valley are a hotspot for chronic illness. We've got 70% of people that have chronic illnesses that will affect them when they're trying to fight this virus off. Obviously, diabetes, like I said, heart disease, even individuals that are a little bit older are at a higher risk as well. So it's serious. And just because you may feel good or you may be asymptomatic or you may kick this in a couple days doesn't mean another family member is. There's people in their 40s that are dying. We had a 21-year-old, 23-year-old. So youth doesn't mean you're immune either. It's sad. And it's, like I said, the circle is getting closer. We're learning of a lot more people that are getting sick. And unfortunately, the trend now is that people that are going into the hospital are younger, and not all of them are making it, as we know. And the amount of people on ventilators is concerning. And right now, unfortunately, a lot of the reason that beds are opening at hospitals is because people are passing away.
Do you think that it's local officials can override the governor's mandate and enforce a shelter in place?
There's two answers to that. Legally, possibly not. Public health and public safety issue, I think you do it and then deal with the consequences later, but you got to protect your people first.
Is there a medical facility dedicated to infants, children for emergencies aside from rona? I'm going to say no, Luis. And I saw your question in regards to the hospitals. If your child has a situation, I would say contact your local doctor to see if they have office hours available in order for you to see them. One of the things that I try to recommend for individuals, Mayor, is if you can, please stay away from hospitals. Please stay away from hospitals. Don't go if I have an upset stomach. I have a fever. I don't know if you knew, Mayor, and I was kind of concerned that you didn't send me a get well card. But I felt a little sick this weekend. With diarrhea and stuff, and people were going like, "Are you going to go get checked?" I go like, "I'm not going to flood the hospital." Well, and it was more because andaba de tragón and I was eating a bunch of grease. But people need not override the emergency room right now because we have a lot of individuals out there that actually, truly, truly need the attention that our medical personnel is giving, and our staff is already working 2 to 3 shifts out there, Mayor.
Oh yeah, we've got hospital staff that are overworked, working double shifts, working days or weeks on end. They're tired, they're frustrated, and they're seeing a war zone. This is, I got a description from somebody today saying, hey, this is like a serious car wreck or train wreck with as many people that are out here in the hallways needing attention, and it just, it's a really bad situation. And I'm tired of hearing people talk about it not being real. I'm tired of people coming and attacking the statistics. I'm tired of the negativity, and I'm tired of the questioning of all this. Guys, it's real. And just stop spreading misinformation. It's not helping anything.
It is at all. Where can I get tested? Again, btxcares.com. I've also shared texascovidtest.org, and I've shared a lot of other providers. Valley Med is also provided their own questionnaire with Dr. Eder Hernandez. So again, guys, and I'll post it right after the show. But again, there's several places out there that are now offering, to test individuals. Please take advantage of them as much as possible. But yeah, BTX Cares is still up, Mayor. Is that correct?
Yes, and let me add actually some good news. We've opened 2 additional testing sites. So our testing has been expanded as of today. We did expand it last week briefly at the Port of Brownsville for a week. And we gave them kind of like a week head start to get acclimated. We were testing a lot of individuals over there, but we're managing the amount. So now btxcares.com is a place to apply to see whether you qualify for a test. But we do have 3 different sites now that are up and running to start testing individuals.
Awesome. Where can you donate plasma? Please call the hospitals, and they'll direct you as to where to go. And I don't mean, please don't misunderstand when I say don't go to hospitals. I mean, if you're going to go donate plasma and they're accepting plasma at the hospitals, please go, and they'll direct you as to where to go. Do not flood the emergency rooms.
If I'm not mistaken, there are plasma centers also. So just Google. Sometimes Google can be your best friend. Just Google plasma center, and you can find a location near you.
Yeah, there's a lot of information online, but please contact your hospitals and they will direct you exactly where to go, what to do, and what not to do. God bless our medical staff. Puros Astros. Good morning, gentlemen. Bless each everyone. Mayor, anything else that is coming for the city of Brownsville in this week that we need to be watching for?
Well, we continue to manage this. Erasmo, it's a day to day. It's constantly evolving, constantly changing. We're spending a lot of money and a lot of resources out there to try and make sure that our citizens have a way to get tested and that we have a lot of information out there. It's been tough, but we're managing it, and I think up to now we've done as much as we possibly could to manage this. And I just urge people to continue to do the things we've been asking from day one. Protect yourself, protect your family, wear your facial coverings. As cheesy as it is, it's true. Wash your hands, keep those microbes off, and stay away from each other. I know it's tough, but we all have to do our part, and we all play a role in this. So just hang in there, and we're managing this, and all the information you have, I've probably read it at some point, but I appreciate everybody giving me the insight and tips on different things. So spread positivity, please. Right now is not a time to be negative. Don't spread misinformation, and take care of yourselves.
Mayor, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, and get back to work.
Thank you, Mayor.
Bye. Thank you.
Mayor well, again, we appreciate Mayor Mendes coming on again. Very accessible, and always willing to ask the questions out there. And again, guys, we had a question in regards to the trash pickup, and Mayor Mendes opted to come on, and I appreciate that's the kind of mayor that we have, that they're willing to come on and to answer the questions. And again, one of the things that I think that differentiates us, Dr. James, is that we don't have a script, and you'll attest to that. We just go like, let's see what happened yesterday. Let's see what happened in the news. And then ultimately, let's decide which path we're going to go. But it's just keeping us up to date in regards to what's going on in our city and our community. It's that simple. So what did you take from Mayor Mendes's time with us, sir?
I appreciated everything that he said. And the one takeaway that I have is that we need to be patient. And I know it's difficult in these times to be patient, but there are reasons why things are lagging behind. For example, the numbers, trash being picked up, etc., is because people who are working to do those things are sick. Trash collectors are sick. People who are doing contact tracing are sick, working for the county. It's affecting everybody. So just to be patient and also, to be cautious and careful with your testing, and to make sure that you're getting the PCR testing, the nasal swab, that is the most accurate. And some of the tests that claim to be having same day results may not be as accurate. Perhaps there are false negatives and false positives. So to be patient with the means that may take a little bit longer, because they may be more accurate. So that was the big takeaway I took from him. We all need to stop and wait and be patient when things are taking long. No matter what part of our lives it is right now, there's probably a reason behind it, and most likely it has something to do with COVID.
It does. And I saw the question as well that came out in regards to what is the best test. Guys, shove that Q-tip up your nose as far back as possible. I mean, it's the most, it's always usually the most painful that's the most effective, and it's probably the most uncomfortable one out there. But let me tell you guys, if it has to happen, it has to happen. It is what it is. But again, something that Dr. James says is very, very true. Guys, just because you test today doesn't mean that you're immune for life for it. Guys, if you test today, you still have to adhere to the CDC guidelines and the CDC recommendations. You still have to maintain 6 foot distance from each other. You still have to wear a mask. You still have to protect your family and your loved ones. You cannot be going out there to Walmart, taking your 6, 7 kids back and forth without a face covering, because what you're going to do is place their lives in danger, and also place individuals' lives in danger that are around you. So guys, we're in it for the long haul.
One thing that really does concern me also is as we're inching closer and closer to the possibility of another shutdown, another shelter in place, I'm concerned that people are going to start going out en masse, like to the island, to here, to there, knowing that it's coming soon, that we won't be able to. And that's going to create even more problems for us. So please, yes, stay at home unless you absolutely have to go out. We understand if you have to work, that's fine. But if you have to go out, for example, to work, make sure you're following the other guidelines. Wear a mask, social distance as much as you can. Wash your hands regularly.
Yeah, Mayor Mendez mentioned PCR, nasopharyngeal swab test is the best. Yeah, shove it up all the way up your nose. It may be very, very uncomfortable, but it's going to be the best test out there. I agree 100%. Yeah, be very, very careful with individuals giving you a quick option like, that's it. No, I mean, not if you're really concerned about the matter. No. In regards to the trash not being picked up in some areas, other trash companies need to be hired. Stop the exclusiveness with just one company. Just get the job done. Well, right now, again, one of the things that I think Mayor Mendez shared was that they're getting to it. It just have to be a little bit patient. And again, guys, with a 12% of their workforce down, I mean, it's kind of a little bit understandable, not excusable 100%, but understandable. We just have to be a little bit patient. And one of the things that I think that I took from the mayor's is something that we've been saying all along. Guys, help each other out. Help each other out. We have, a lot of times, a lot of politicians will say like, "Oh, we're all in this together," but a lot of them don't mean it. I believe what the mayor says, and guys, we are all in this together. If your neighbor has tested positive, if your neighbor needs food, go buy the food for him, and go put essentials out there in his doorstep or out at the front of his house. Help each other out. If you know of an elderly individual that doesn't have transportation and needs things, don't wait for the city to provide. Don't wait for the county to provide. Get your butt in gear, get in your damn car, and go get them something to eat.
Absolutely. If you have people in your family who may not be as adept with technology, help them out so they can do curbside rather than allowing them just to go out and go to Walmart or HEB. Help out your fellow man. That's the only way we're going to get through this.
Can you question Doctor what he thinks about this product? I'm not sure what product that is.
Yeah, what product is that?
Yeah, island should be closed. Yeah, island should be closed. I'm sorry, it should be closed. But again, the city of South Padre Island doesn't give a rat's behind. They don't care. They just don't care. They just don't care. The county still has their beaches closed, but the city is adamant that they're going to leave their beaches open. But again, they just don't care. Where can I find test sites for COVID? I will post some on the page. Again, btxcares.com, txcovidtest.org. And again, if you need more lists, more options, send me an information. Again, Valley Med Clinic is also doing their own tests, and I will post the link to their questionnaire after the show. So please, guys, take advantage of all the different options. Dr. Eder Hernandez has been on this from day one, so he might be a good resource. He is very, very well versed in regards to what's going on and in regards to testing. Through the bottom part of the nose with your head up, tilted back, use a long swab, not a Q-tip. Yeah, and guys, please, and just to make this very, very clear, don't do it yourself. I mean, don't go out there and go buy a big old Q-tip and stick it up your nose. Please don't do that. No. And let the medical people do the big old deep swabbing up there, please. We don't want you to poke your brain if you have one. The community and the personal responsibility with respect to wearing masks, washing hands, staying home when you feel sick, and following the guidelines is the most important thing that we can do and bring the numbers out. Yeah, 100%. One of the things that when you see me walking around town, you'll see me walking around with this. I always carry, it's my Manzano, a middle school thing that they gave me. I always carry my disinfectant. I don't have it on right now because it's right in front of me, but protect yourself, guys, and with me, it's more, I'm young, I'm 32 years old, and I'll probably be okay with it. But I have parents at home. I have individuals at home that are probably have more underlying conditions than myself. So with that said, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I'm not a carrier. And that's what everyone needs to do. It's personal responsibility, 100%, Margaret.
And we have to listen to medical personnel. We should also follow what some of the other countries have been doing and our own history. I mean, look back at our history, 1918, the influenza pandemic, the so-called Spanish flu. People wore masks. People stayed home. When cities reopened too soon, they had huge outbreaks. When schools opened in the fall of 1918, second huge wave. I mean, why do we have to repeat history? We know what has happened before. Let's don't repeat it.
No. Here in Houston, they're making tests with saliva where you spit in the tube and they run the test from that. News media is reporting on it, and the results are supposed to be more accurate and faster. Only thing is $149. Does the doctor know anything about that?
Well, I'd like to just remind everybody, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a pharmacist. My doctorate is in counseling, but I do a lot of reading, and especially in scientific journals and medical journals through Google Scholar. If they're if they say faster, I wouldn't trust it. And I've even seen like some of the home swab tests where you can just barely put the swab inside your nose and send it in and mail it in. I would not trust that. I would trust the PCR test where they go back there and they swab, and yes, it itches and tickles your brain because it's way back there in the back of your nose, but it's going to be more accurate in my opinion. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about scientific studies and the reliability and validity of saliva tests.
Yeah, what I've read is exactly the same thing. I don't see any correlation in regards to it being more effective or more accurate. With that said, Coy, we will have Dr. Teresa Saavedra on tonight, and she is one of our local doctors. And, we'll ask her in regards to it. So come back on tonight at 9 o'clock. She's a good way to get you back on at 9 o'clock. But come back at 9 o'clock and ask your question again, please. Dr. Teresa Saavedra will be here this evening, and, we'll have all these medical questions in regards to it. But again, the doctors that we have had on, which is Dr. Mario Serdan, Dr. Eder Hernandez, Dr. Jamil Madi, has basically said the same thing in regards to the PCR. So please, if you can, get the PCR. LGM, LGG antibody testing. What does the doctor think about the LGM, LGG antibody testing?
To be honest, I don't know anything specific about that particular test, but from what I've read about antibody testing, they may not be accurate. As I said before, over time, do people lose those antibodies? And that happens with other diseases such as dengue fever. And I have read a lot here recently about the comparisons between COVID-19 and dengue fever, which is very scary because those symptoms linger and come back months and months and months later.
I got tested in mid-February, had the sputum test at Sports Park due to my COPD. Do you recommend I retest? If you're having symptoms, well, yeah. But if you're not having symptoms, then no. If you're not having symptoms, no. And if you already have COPD, you already know the symptoms that you've already had before the Rona. So, it's and I'll give you an example, St. John. I had diarrhea on Saturday, and diarrhea is a symptom of Rona. It's a symptom. So, am I going to go out there and get tested? Oh, let me go get tested because I got diarrhea. No, I'm not. What I'm going to do is think, oh, wait a minute. I don't have a gallbladder, and I ate like a pound of grease for lunch because I'm Mexican, and Mexicans eat grease daily. And I said it was because I'm a pig, and I was out there eating like a pig. So I'm going to opt not to go get a test. And again, and it's not because I don't want to get a test. It's because I'm not going to take away a test from someone that really, really needs it. So no, if you have no symptoms, St. John, if you're the only thing that you have is your COPD, which you've already had before anyway, then no, don't get a test. Don't get a test.
I'm not a medical doctor, but my father, when he was alive, he had COPD. All I can say is stay home.
Yeah.
Don't go out anywhere, much less to get tested. No, stay at home.
What needs to be talked about right now, addressed and be given as essential service is mental health services, Dr. James. There are people who suffer from mental health issues who are suffering right now. Even people who have never once had a panic attack in their life are experiencing anxiety. We need outlets too. This is affecting people just as much mentally. Dr. James?
That is definitely true. And just to be quite candid, panic attacks can happen to anybody. I would say probably 90% of our population at some time in their life would experience one panic attack. And probably for that person, it scares them to death. They don't know what it is, and they end up going to the ER thinking they had a heart attack when they have not. But yes, absolutely. And there are resources out there. UTRGV does have counseling and training clinics that are available free of charge to the community. And there are other entities too that provide free counseling services. So definitely can look into that, and also be aware that most employers through the insurance have what they call EAP, an employee assisted program, where there may be 5 or 6 sessions that are completely covered as contracted with mental health professionals, where you don't have to pay a copay even for those first few sessions that they have for the first several months. So that's something to look into as well. One thing that I would recommend is to contact your insurance carrier and ask if there is an EAP. It is important that you do that, because if you reach out to a therapist, for example, for me, and ask us to look into it for you, we're going to have a hard time getting through on the phone. Usually it's the individual who has the insurance that can get through a lot quicker and get those answers. So I would recommend that you look into that as well if you have insurance.
Well, what are some mental issues or symptoms that we may see in kids now because of the COVID situation? And are there enough counselors in schools to deal with this issue? The answer is no. If you remember correctly, Jason, they cut down on our counselors at the district. Here in Brownsville, they cut down on counselors and made their jobs 10 times harder. So what are some of the mental issues and symptoms that may see? I guess I'll let Dr. James answer, but one of my concerns is the extra anxiety and stress that parents are putting on the kids by not taking this as seriously as they should. And let me tell you, if there's one thing that kids have right now more than anything is information, because they spend all their time on social media. So parents need not give conflicting statements in regards to the lessening of the severity of what we're dealing with. But Dr. James, I'll let you take on what are some mental issues or symptoms for our kids.
First and foremost, I would say, especially the younger the child is, they can't communicate what they're feeling. They have a difficult time articulating if they're feeling sad, if they're feeling angry, and why. For that reason, they may respond in other ways, such as acting out, anger outbursts, misbehaving when they normally did not, and even describing physical symptoms such as my stomach hurts, my chest hurts, my head hurts, versus saying that they have these types of cognitive issues because they just have a difficult time expressing that. And that's why for the younger children, we actually have techniques referred to as play therapy, where the therapist who is trained can observe the child in play and see how in that way they can express themselves. So that is very common. But yes, I would say most common among anything is the stress and the anxiety, just like you're saying. And a lot of it comes from mixed signals also. Hearing one thing, for example, through their social media or YouTube or whatnot, and then their parents the opposite. So that confusion creates anxiety. The unknown, the inability to socialize with their friends. So it's important for them to get on technology and to be able to communicate with their friends, even if it's talking on the phone or video conferencing like we are now. It's important for children to be able to socialize during these points in their lives. Very vital. That can affect their mental health as well.
Just wondering if I missed out, but have you announced the winners of the 2 scholarships? Yeah, they were announced last night, and I can't remember the names. Frankie has them. Inbox Frankie. He'll give you, and I'll put up a post with the names of them. I can't remember because I'm old. But yes, they were announced last night, and I think Frankie has those. He handled the scholarship thing. Thank you, Elva. Hope you feel better. You feel better. I am feeling a lot better. Thank you. I just need a little rest, and Saturday night and all of Sunday really did help out. So thank you, Tony. Entonces no habrá clases vamos a ver a la 1:00 p.m. Van a hacer la votación. Yo creo que las primeras 6 semanas van a ser en línea. I just signed into the talk. I need to get tested. I'm from Brownsville. Do you guys know of a clinic? Yes, Valley Med, Patricia. Send me an inbox and I'll send you their information. Valley Med Clinic. I'll send you the information. Send me an inbox. Almost done. Elva, yes, last night's show. Yes, last night. Hope you feel better, Erasmo. Thank you, Aurora. Bendiciones. Keeping the kids accurately informed is key because they hear everything we do, but we need to do our best sifting. Yes, 100%. Very good email. Thank you. Thank you, Elba. God bless. Dr. James, any last words?
Stay home. Wear your mask. Physical distance. Wash your hands. Clean and disinfect. And it's not just about you. It's about everybody else in our community.
Guys, again, thank you, Dr. James. Thank you, Mayor Trey Mendez, for coming on. Guys, have an amazing rest of the day. Remember, today at 2:00, we will be out in front of BISD holding up signs and with AOBE and other counselors and other individuals out there. The school board, they've called an emergency meeting at 1:00. And my best guess is that they're going to opt, at least for the first 6 weeks, to do remote learning, which is the right choice. It's the only choice. But again, guys, I'm glad that they're going to do it now. They should have done it months ago, and truly be the leaders that our community needs and deserves. Guys, have a great day. We'll be back tonight at 9:00 with Dr. Teresa Saavedra. God bless. Stay safe. Maintain physical distancing. Wash your hands. Everything that Dr. James said. Be good to each other, and please be good to me. Bye.